Hey, it's Lillian on your screen. Let me ask you something. Are you married? What did you say? Okay, even if you're not married, you're in a relationship. Or you're engaged. Or maybe you're single, but you have been in a relationship before. Or you've been engaged before, right? Either of these will be your position. Now let me ask you, how many of you enjoyed the euphoria of your wedding ceremony? The proposal, the engagement, the flowers, the beauties, all the glorious and beautiful promises. And few years down the line, it's as if all of those things that you heard, all of those things that you anticipated, all of those promises, they were dying right before you. It was no longer what you heard. It was no longer what you saw. It was a different thing altogether. Have you been in that shoe before? Fine. I'm going to tell you a story about a man called Jeremiah. Before I do that, have you subscribed to this channel? If you have not subscribed to this channel, this is Life with Ejoma Lillian. And every Friday, I'm going to be taking you on an interesting few minutes journey into your life and your relationship. Hit that subscription button and of course, turn on the notification bell. And don't forget to like this video. And here's the story of the man called Jeremiah. In the book of Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, God called Jeremiah into a lifelong relationship. And he said to Jeremiah, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. Before you came out of your mother's womb, I have sanctified you and ordained you a prophet to the nations. That was an alluring promise. It was a beautiful promise to be called a prophet to the nation. But few years down the line, let's hear what Jeremiah has to say. Jeremiah in 20 verse 7 said, "You deceived me, Lord, and I was deceived. You overpowered me and prevailed. I am ridiculed all day long. Everyone mocks me. Whenever I speak, I cry out proclaiming violence and destruction. So the word of the Lord has brought me insult and reproach all day long. But if I say I will not speak anymore, his word was in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I can't hold it in." That was the outcome of this promise that the Lord gave to Jeremiah. See, when the Lord gives you a promise, he will bring you through a process. He is a God of process. He cannot leave you to venture into the promise without passing you through the required process. This is where you will need to understand the dynamics of God. This is where you will need to understand how God works in and through us. The promise is true, but you will be ready. You will be courageous. You will die enough to be able to pass through the process. You will be ready enough, patient enough, courageous enough, determined enough to follow God through the end of it. If you ask Jeremiah wherever he is now, if God really deceived him, I know what the answer will be. No, Lord, you didn't deceive me. Because right now as we speak, he is most honored. When Jesus was about to be transfigured, he was among the great men acts that accompanied the transfiguration of Jesus. Jeremiah would no longer say the Lord deceived him. He never knew that God was calling him into a lifelong of glory. No wonder in Malachi chapter 3, the Lord said, I will set a difference between them that serve me and them that serve me not. It is just a matter of time. You will just need to wait to the end. Because I tell you that better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. The story is about to be more glorious. My friend, God will tell you how beautiful and how glorious the end will be. God will show you the destiny he has called you into. And it's usually always very beautiful and glorious. But he will not tell you the process. He will not give you the details of the process. And if you have not come to the end of yourself, you cannot walk with God to the destination he has designed. Except a corn of wheat fall to the ground and die, it abides alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. You will need to come to the end of yourself to be able to actualize that destination God has called you into. The process will not be sweet. The process will be very opposite to the things that He told you. The process will be different from the things you saw. It will be hard. But let me tell you something. It will take the courageous, the determined, the person that have come to the end of themselves, the people that it's no longer about them, it's about the destination. Jesus, for the glory that was set before Him, the Bible said He endured the cross. He despised the shame. And right now as we speak, He's seated right at the right hand of the Father, in heavenly places, far above limitation, far above principalities, far above powers, far above anything you can mention. The way up is down. You will not get there on the bed of roses. Please take note of that. If you really want to walk with God, you've got to be ready for the process, because He must pass you through the process if it is this God that I know. The thing that happened is that many of us, we give up before we get to the end. It's a word of hope for someone that is about to give up on the journey that you've started with God and the journey that you've started in your life, in your marriage. It's a word of hope for you that better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. You've got to look at the promise, look at the destination, and forget the present. Now, how about in your relationship? You know, you experience all those beautiful promises. You saw all of those beautiful future. But right here, the difference is clear. It's no longer what you see. I needed to understand one thing. There are stages in relationships. There is the stage of attraction, which is where people usually, get together and they enjoy that phase of their life. It gets to a point where things begin to frustrate because their personalities and who they really are begins to unfold. That is where reality sets in. That's where marriage happens. This is the point where the love is tested. This is the point where you prove to yourself, you prove to, that commitment you've made, that choice you've made, that you know what, I'm going to see through to the end of this. That stage of frustration is where people usually give up on their relationship. And if you're able to patiently and, wisely pass through that stage, you are coming to a stage of acceptance, a stage where the things that frustrated you about this person, you've come to a point where you begin to accept some of those things, and your personality begin to infuse into each other. If this person is someone that is a talkative and you don't like talking, you discover that she will begin to talk less and you begin to talk more. Like, it will come to a point where there will become a balance, with the things that frustrated you that you wanted to give up on. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. If you're faint in the days of adversity, your strength is small. You've got to look beyond the now and see the tomorrow that awaits you. And brace up, package up, and you know what? Say to yourself, I can do this. Yes, you can do it. For we can do all things through Christ that strengthen us. Thank you for staying with me on Live with Ijoma Lillian on this episode. Thank you. And I hope you have subscribed to this channel for more interesting edition of Life with Ijoma Lillian. God bless you, and I see hope come for you. Your light is come, the glory is risen upon you. Have a beautiful